Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark. That's right. It's the show where we let our hair down, we have a drink, and we answer your crypto questions with the help of our expert guest friends and colleagues, and occasionally do some altcoin research. And tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is our friend, Amy Street. Amy, we're so glad to have you here. I wanted to give you a second to introduce yourself, but first I realized I forgot to tell you about the game we play. At Rise Up After Dark, just like your favorite game shows, we play a game where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. And every time you hear this sound, it means you've got a point. And every time you hear this sound, it means you lost a point. And I will remind you throughout the stream who is winning, who is losing. Sometimes people who aren't even here get a point. Will got a point for being sane and chewing his fruit. And Alex got a Gwump pre-stream for the shower baby thing. That was Little Gwump.
Okay, yeah. First of all, with no context, that sounds insane. And second of all,
no, all the context you need. Just make sure you comment
off with a Gwump.
Just make sure you comment something about a baby on all of Alex's next videos.
Such bullshit. Don't fucking do that.
Okay, fine. I will ungwump you. I will ding you. And without further ado, I will let you know that if you have questions for us, the best place to leave them is in the comments. Or if you don't want to type out a comment, then definitely leave your comments in the Rise Up Discord server. That is the place we source all our questions and altcoin picks from when we do our crypto research. And that is our goal here, is to help you become a more self-sufficient cryptocurrency user, whether you want to invest, whether you just want to learn about the industry, maybe because you want to work here. And so if we can help you, let us know. That's the best place to do it. It's totally free. The only thing that's missing is you. And tonight's guest, my friends, she has her own advisory firm where she does growth marketing for projects on the Solana network. She works closely with the Solana Foundation, and Forbes calls her a crypto personality. Here to talk about Solana beyond the memes and tell her incredible story. Again, I give you Amy Street. Amy, thank you so much again for being here. Why don't you tell the folks back home a little more about yourself and what you do?
Well, first of all, I've been watching you guys for months now, so it's been very exciting to get connected with you guys on point.
Definitely got a point for that.
I've been on the show for a really long time. I can get a point more. Oh.
Now you're even, Will.
Yeah, shit.
So it's really exciting to get on with you guys and chat. It's fun. So, yeah, I am a girl who found crypto accidentally. I used to be a teacher and I used to work in the music industry as a songwriter. And during COVID was kind of exploring some different things and accidentally fell into the Solana ecosystem and fell in love with crypto, fell in love with everything blockchain. And now I've kind of just found my way up, like rising up in the ecosystem in public. And I'm just really excited about everything that's happening, especially since kind of Solana is one of the main characters this cycle. So it just is it's a fun thing for me. But yeah, that's like my
Very
elevator.
Cool. You know, I actually prepared just a short, not that people don't know what Solana is, but if it's okay with you, I have a less than 60-second summary of start to finish Solana's journey to give folks context who maybe aren't entirely caught up or who only know it from meme tokens. So if you're just joining us, or if you're skeptical or curious about cryptocurrency, Solana is the name of a popular cryptocurrency network. It is also the name of the sole Solana's token, its coin. Tonight on Rise Up After Dark, that's the whole theme. We are going to delve into the remarkable journey of Solana, which is a blockchain that really has defied expectations and emerged probably stronger than anybody, and is starting to form a category of one. It was launched in 2020. And it was criticized as a VC chain because of all of its venture backing. And it quickly gained a lot of attention for the high throughput, the low transaction fees, and the constant downtime. The joke that time was Solana is down, Solana is breaking. And then in late 2022, the collapse of FTX dealt them a really critical blow. Sol's price plummeted nearly 70% to under $10. I think some people here in our audience scooped it up at $8 at one point in time. But despite these challenges, the community, the many people who build there, they showed some real resilience. the network became increasingly decentralized as developers and enthusiasts continued to build. They shifted their focus from NFTs to some killer apps, and especially, everybody knows, meme coins, which really stress tested and showcased some of the network's capabilities. Today, Solana boasts a total TVL, get this, of approximately $10 billion. That puts it second only behind Ethereum and accounts for a tenth of all TVL on every blockchain network everywhere. They process over 4,500 transactions per second. They've handled more than 363 billion transactions to date and support almost 30 million active accounts. Masari analysts have called them the winning project of the year, and they've gotten a lot of other accolades too. But that's why we're talking about them tonight, because there is so much more to Solana than just meme tokens. And Amy really is somebody who's at the very center of it. So I'd love to know more about, first of all, did we miss anything? And second of all, what your journey to crypto and the Solana ecosystem looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I need to get whatever you have. If you have the copy of that, I would love that to be able to give the rundown to anybody better than I've ever done. So
He's very good with that kind of stuff.
He's
Yeah.
good at it.
I mean,
storyteller.
that's why I
I'll
watch
give
it.
myself a point. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you get a point.
Rigged, I tell you.
Yeah, so I have quite an interesting story of how I got into crypto in general. I told Alex when we spoke on the phone that I think it's the weirdest story that I've heard of anyone that I've heard in quite a while.
Can I interrupt you, Amy, just to say that
Sure.
she said that to me, and I was like, okay, let's see, because
Yeah,
I've heard
let's
some
see it.
stories, and I have to say, like, not to try to gas everyone up before Amy gets a chance to tell her story, but it is a very unique story, and I am a big fan,
I'm
so I'm excited
interested
to hear
this because I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
So,
I did not tell them, so
or know this story, I should say.
Okay, I'll check yourself, brother. Go ahead, Amy.
So as I said, I was a teacher and a songwriter. I've been writing music in the rap industry for over a decade. I had been a kindergarten teacher by day, like a rapping songwriter by night, for almost like 10 years. And COVID was a time that kind of turned everyone on their heads, and everyone got some time to explore some different things that they wanted to do. And like, it's a time that a lot of people got into crypto, right? Because people had a lot of time on their hands. And but I didn't find crypto found me. I accidentally found crypto because a pipeline of getting into social audio. So if you're not familiar with social audio, Clubhouse was a application that came out during COVID, and everyone was obsessed with it. It is
Yeah,
like
I kind of forgot about Clubhouse.
Oh, it's a fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun, and I was obsessed with it, and I really wanted to kind of put a show together instead of just have a conversation. So I put together a fun show that went viral and was one of the top grossing shows on all of Clubhouse. We were the #1 show for 17 weeks straight. And I got scouted by Spotify, who was going to be putting on their own social audio app called Spotify Live. And so Spotify said, let's do the same show and let's run it on our beta app. And it wasn't as like sexy as I thought it was going to be honest. But I ran a whole season there and was looking for virality in other places. And so I went to Twitter, which was a place I've been in for a very long time. I've had a Twitter account since high school, but it's been pretty dead, and found out that they had a new social audio app that was called Twitter Spaces. And so I got on Twitter Spaces and was like finding my way through different rooms and was like, I just want to run the old Clubhouse stuff back. And so I was like running essentially like a dating show on Twitter Spaces. And then the crypto guys came and found this Twitter space and were trying to troll me. And if there's one thing about Amy Street, I'll tell you something, is she doesn't back down to nothing. I'm Italian, like homebred, through I can take it. So I'm dishing it back, and they think it's hysterical. And I changed the whole name of the space to NFT Men Connect with Beautiful Women. And it goes
good.
It goes extremely viral. And there are 10,000 live listeners in my Twitter space, and I'm a meme overnight. And I don't really know what to do with it. I don't know much about crypto. I don't know much about NFTs, but I'm just kind of like going with what I know from I've worked with Philosopher Damas in the past, and he's a big EDM artist, and he launched an NFT. So I knew some remnants of what NFTs were from him. And I knew like about Bitcoin a little bit, but I didn't really understand the difference. But I was like, I'm just going to run a bunch of these crypto like focused things and gain virality through this. And then I got called out on Twitter, and they're like, are you just going to use the crypto ecosystem? Are you like looking for like, are you trying to get money from us? Like, what is the point here? And I'm like, well, I'm literally just trying to get people to listen to my podcast and like just be a funny girl on the internet, to be honest. But they're like, well, are you going to learn about crypto, or are you just going to use us? And I was like, if you guys want to send me a podcast or something, like I'll listen to it. Like, I don't even know, I don't have a wallet. I don't even know how to get crypto. And they're like, yeah, well, some people jumped on Zoom calls with me. Some people were like DMing me different information, giving me wallet security tips, like all this kind of help early days. And I got into it, and I had like a really lucky first hit at flipping an NFT. And I like flipped it in my first NFT for like almost $28,000. And
wow.
So I was like,
what was the NFT collection?
It was a derivative Bored Ape Yacht Club baby. It was something stupid, Pico bull market, dumb stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I flipped two of these rares, and I'm like, what does that even mean at the time? NFTs.
It means you get $28,000.
Oh, I was
That's
like,
what it means.
And truthfully, like, I'm gonna be honest, gentlemen, I cashed out every dollar of those $28,000 and put it in my bank account.
Hell yeah, you did.
And I quit my job. And I said, I don't know what's happening here, but there's something here. And
a bag of money. I don't know what's happening, but I mean,
it's like almost my first teacher paycheck is like what I got from one day in NFTs. That obviously didn't last forever, and every NFT I bought for like the next few weeks were just not like all rugs. And but I fell in love with Solana because I hated using Ethereum. I hated the experience of gas fees. That first time I had to cash out, I'm like, why do I have to spend $200 in gas fees to be able to sell this? Like that's stupid. But then people were telling me, okay, there's another blockchain that like it's maybe a place to get started. Like there's NFTs and crypto over there too, and meme coins, and you could go play around over there. I'm like, okay, and my first friends I made introduced me to Solana, and that's how I fell in love with Solana. And I was like, maybe I could do a podcast about this. Like, I'm really good at podcasting. What if I did a podcast about this? And so I started a podcast, and I started just like going to events and meeting people. And then I went to a Solana hacker house, which was like this builder, like all these nerdy devs in a room together, and they do like night events where they network, and then during the day they're just on their computer hacking in code, building stuff on Solana. And like the culture that they built at these hacker houses was so infectious. And I didn't go home for 2 months. I just like went on a circus tour with Solana and just went city to city with them, just meeting people, recording podcasts, making content, learning more about the ecosystem, and seeing how I could help. And from there, people are like, you're really good at going viral. Why don't you just start helping people go viral with the stuff that they're building? And I'm like, oh, that's easy. I could do that. So I started my own firm where I help people come up with go-to-market strategies to bring things to light in the ecosystem. I also have been building in public where people have watched me go from like zero to hero, where I was studying Solana more than I think I studied in college, to be honest. I was, and I got to meet all these people who built the blockchain early. So like I met Raj and Anatoly, who are the two founders of Solana, in person and had like dinner with them. Like I've had drinks with them. I like met all these people who built the code for how NFTs were launched on Solana, and the infrastructure for Metaplex, and the infrastructure for all of these cool things that were coming out of Solana. And so I know all these original builders. So when you see these big companies booming like Pump Fun and Jupiter and all these cool things that are on Solana, I was watching them build it on the computer years ago. And so it's been a cool experience for me to kind of find Solana. It was like a complete accident, but I can't imagine being anywhere else. And it just is really fun to see my conviction and like, this makes so much sense. Why don't people do this instead of Ethereum? Or why aren't people buying into this blockchain instead of these other blockchains? And I got clowned like clowned. for
Really?
years. Oh, bad. Everyone was like, "You're stupid. Solana's the poor chain. All the people are on
Yeah,
Solana."
sure.
That was very 2020, 2021.
Oh,
know?
I like, oh, the Solana girl is here. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
you tell us about your Solana NFTs, and like, then there was like a handful of things that did really well, and people started noticing it. And then this cycle with meme coins has just been a different story. So, and slowly but surely, we've been just taking the refugees that I call them from Ethereum and bringing them over to Solana. So that's the story.
It's a killer story. We had a comment from Bob and also one or two in the TikTok chat that said, you're a rap writer. We're going to need to hear some bars before you leave tonight. So I'll write it down. You might be able to get 10 points if somebody can find a beat for us real quick, or Will, you can beatbox. Because I can't.
I don't have any alcohol in the house tonight, boys. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. My favorite thing about the whole story is, you get in touch with the crypto crowd and, engaging with them. And, your first goal is like, oh, I can use this to go viral. And then you get called out like, oh, are you going to like use us to go viral? Or are you going to like, dive in the pool? And then you dive into the pool because most people, even people who are started off being like, I'm going to get into the crypto space, just want to take advantage of it for some kind of monetary gain or personal gain, far more than I feel like most industries. So it's nice to be able to talk with somebody in the industry and who wants to actually like be a part of it and explore it and learn it and like foster the actual business of it and the expansion and the benefits and how it can be used and all that stuff, as opposed to just money. Which
Will, do you mean as opposed to Hawk Tua launching a meme coin and then falling off the face of the earth? Going on
no, that's positive engagement with the crypto space. What are you talking about? That's really positive. It spreads a good name for us. Yeah.
No, it's true, and I wouldn't call myself like an Ethereum refugee by any stretch, because I was not like a heavy user, and I sort of, as someone who is like trying to learn about all of it and teach about all of it, I used as many things as humanly possible. So wallets on every chain, the ones that were awful, it just immediately stopped. Like I made a Polkadot wallet and did things on Polkadot for a while, and it was horrendous.
It was so bad. Polkadot was my least favorite. Actually, no, that's not true. What's my word?
It's offensively bad.
It's either Polkadot or it's Cardano, because Cardano back in the day, just like opening up the Arculus wallet. Is it open yet?
Amy, you said Polygon, but I just used MetaMask or like EVM compatible wallets to get. I never had a problem with Polygon, except that I had to do stuff.
I meant to say Polkadot.
No, you said Polkadot, but I thought Amy said
Polygon, but Cardano's worse. Like
Cardano, the Yoroi wallet or the Daedalus wallet that you had to get a full node for God's sake just to stake for Sunday swap. I mean, good God, I'm grumpy.
I used to have this funny like story, like allegory about Cardano for people that didn't understand why people hate Cardano, that know nothing about crypto. Okay. And I'd be like, imagine moving into a house and the only restaurant that was closest to you is one that's like miles away, and you had to drive forever, and you had to like spend a lot of money on gas to be able to go forever. And then someone one day is like, there is a Outback Steakhouse that they're actually going to be building right across the street from you. And you're like, no kidding, an Outback Steakhouse, that's not too bad. And I'm not going to have to pay all this money on gas to go drive up to the restaurant. Like, I could just go to the Outback Steakhouse. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's so great. And you're waiting for the Outback Steakhouse to get built, and you're waiting for the Outback Steakhouse to be built. And you're like, when is this going to be built? And it finally gets built, and you show up, and you're like so excited, and you're like, oh my gosh, can't wait to try one of these bloomin' onions. You know what I mean? I've been hearing all about it. And they're like, we actually have nothing on the menu. And we're like, what do you mean you don't have anything on the menu? Like, and it's like, that's like how it was with waiting for Cardano.
What you can do is you can take one of the Outback Steakhouse wallets and you can stake it. Or not wallets, but like menus.
Alex famously,
my word choice today. Woo.
It's okay, man. There's something in the air. I was chewing my words earlier. Alex and I were excited about Sunday Swap after Pancake Swap. At the start of the food journey a couple years ago, and we staked a lot of money. I'm sure at the time it seemed like a lot.
No,
right?
By today's standards,
for a long time,
it was still a significant chunk. It was not an insignificant amount of money that I staked for every waking second it was possible to stake ADA for Sunday.
You were early.
Swap. I was there the minute that shit opened, and I staked a lot. and I got like $30 for it.
Tens of dollars. Yeah.
Are you? I'm not even being facetious. It was literally like $28 and some odd cents worth of this nonsense token that ended up being a total flop. And I just remember thinking, like, can you even imagine how much more just plain aid I would have had if I had just left this like staking in a regular pool?
This is terrible.
You think the Blast airdrop was a letdown?
Oh,
let's time travel to Sunday Swap's airdrop and talk to me about bad airdrops. All right.
You know what I will tell you though is they had a really incredible metaverse event that was like right at the start of that whole metaverse meta, and they had this really easy to use, interesting. It was not quite as large as like the other side, but honestly, it was about that impressive. Like a year and a half before they were even talking about doing their thing, and I got NFTs for attending these conferences. Charles spoke there. It was cool as hell. And then they never ever did anything with it again. And I'm thinking they must have just spent millions of dollars on this thing that just sits there now. So, Amy, can I ask you to tell us? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just gonna say this is actually, believe it or not, the Solana Beyond the Meme stream, not the let's take a shit on Cardano stream.
Well, that's where I was gonna take it there, but I actually I forgot there was a side quest that Amy mentioned when you were in the comments the other day. Amy, we were talking about something, and you said I lived in my car so I could buy Solana or something like that. Like at one point in your journey, you were such a true believer. Yeah, you sold your car so you could buy Solana. Can you tell us more about that? Was that when it was like $8? Did you buy the dip?
Oh, so I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I had like money that I had made from last bull run, but like I wrote a decent amount of it down. Like I didn't have a ton of Solana sitting there, and I wanted to buy more. And I was learning how to trade from a really wonderful group on Twitter, this guy named Adrian from Leverage Labs, and he and I were talking a bunch about Solana's price because it was just plummeting after FTX. And like, I will tell you, as somebody who's been a figurehead in the Solana ecosystem, like that was just like a really devastating time for a lot of us. But a lot of us kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, let's just kind of rally together and like get everybody's like we know what's being built. I've been traveling to 22 hacker houses for the last year. I know exactly what's being built on this chain. It's not vaporware. There's something here. There's just a catastrophic black swan event that's happened. And we just need to put Solana on our backs and kind of just ride into the sun again. So that's what we were trying to do. And I knew I wanted to stack a lot of Sol, and it was trying to time it. And there's a lot of people are saying it's going to go down to $3. And I was like, there's no way this goes down to $3. But then I'm seeing single digit Solana, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, I don't have nearly enough money to throw at this. And my friend Adrian is like, this is the bottom. I hope you're catching it. Like, do what you can. And I'm like, crap. So it's like right around like $20, like 11, like it's between like 20 and $11. And I was already looking to potentially get a new car, and I had a Lexus that I had, it was like a nice Lexus. And I was like, I don't need this nice Lexus. I could just get some used car, and I will just sell this because it's worth a lot of money. That I don't have many things that are worth a lot of money, and that was worth a decent amount of money. So I just sold this Lexus in like a day. I went out and sold it in a day, and I didn't have a car for a while, and I was just going to go out and buy another one when I figured it out. And I just used that money from selling the car to buy Solana at around $9, which was
nice. Wow.
God, that's epic.
Man, yeah. One hell of a nice car now.
I want to highlight something you said, Amy, just as a quick aside, because I also have a ton of personal experience with this. You mentioned going to a bunch of hacker houses and having that information just to put in perspective the things that are happening. If you want to remove yourself from the chatter of echo chamber, crypto Twitter, and crypto TikTok, and everyone shilling everything at you, and find out what of it is actually real, go to one conference. And if I could pick one out of a hat, it would probably be Consensus for you to go to get the most well-rounded, like, touch on all of the ecosystems. You're going to have gaming shit there, NFT shit there, ETH, Sol, Bitcoin miners and custody people, hardware wallet stuff. I'm sure that the PSG one and the 0x Play one, I mean, Stellar's booth, like even Polkadot had a freaking booth there. There was no one there, but
Of course they did. They had to blow that budget somehow.
But the point is that
They love
you go
spending
there,
money.
you will see a whole lot of people who are working on things, and it's so much easier to put in perspective like what of the shit you're hearing online is nonsense and what of it is like grounded in some sort of reality. So big shout out to events, conferences, hacker houses, any sort of public crypto event. Plus, if you've never done it, it is so cathartic and wholesome to be in a giant conference center surrounded by a shitload of people who don't think you're crazy. I'll just put that out there too. That's a really nice feeling.
I will say that I've met my best friends in crypto that I've ever made in my life. And I think there's a lot of people that feel that kind of synergy with people that they meet when they're like very into crypto, and you meet other people that are really into crypto. It's like instant synergy, and you can have a fast friendship with those people, because I feel that people that believe in crypto and decentralization like have a similar kind of like understanding of what they want the world to look like. And I think that that helps people. Like, if you think about the friendships that you've made in your life, it's often been times that it's been about proximity of like the people you grew up next to, or the people you went to school with, or the people you work with. And you have to find that thing that you have in common. And in crypto, it's like we all have this common thing, and we can all be instant best friends because this is all I want to talk about all the time.
You know, somebody in the comments just said cryptocurrency is all just a scam. And I feel like it is that ethos. As much as the transformational tech that people are building, like they often go hand in hand. People really are, you know, kind of true believers because they are inclusive, because they value people from all walks of life, because they want to have a better, like more egalitarian future with more access and more opportunity. And I certainly think there are a lot of scams here, but I have found that to be true about almost everybody I've met who's really serious about this. They're some of the best people in the whole world, more than any other industry I've ever worked in.
Well, to add on that, there are a lot of scams, but you know, for the most part, a lot of people call a crypto project a scam when in reality it was a small business that just didn't make it. Most small businesses outside of blockchain, they don't make it. That's the fate of what I think it's 90% of all small business. It's a very high stat of
probably more than that. Yeah.
It's probably more than that. And when you take that and you put it onto the blockchain, you're now taking a small business model that is incredibly high risk of failing and attaching new transformative technology and new types of economics that you have to take into account to make it successful. And God forbid, you're also trying to make a Web3 game on top of that too. And like the odds of you being successful are very, very low. And then people call you a scam when in reality, you did your best. You're just a small business.
Just didn't work.
Just didn't work.
Plus, I mean, we say all the time, right? Like the presence of scams doesn't mean that the good stuff isn't good stuff. You know, the presence of memes does not mean that the rest of the stuff is not wholesome and good and worthwhile and valuable, or that memes don't have their place. You know, what do we always say? Like Las Vegas existing doesn't mean your 401k is pointless. So it's silly to think that it all has to be all of one thing. And in general, you know, anyone who believes in any extreme is usually wrong.
Yeah, and then also, Evan, you brought up a great point where you brought up earlier around meme coins on Solana. You're like, yeah, tested it in a great way. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I will say to people in the future, because so much of the volume on Solana, and Solana has a ton of volume on it. Huge amounts of volume and a ton of people there, because the casino brings in the people, brings in the transactions. That's how, you know, you find out how scalable is this really. We have, everyone releases their, you know, theoretical transactions per second at scale. How many people can really be on here and stuff? But with Solana, you don't have to play with theoreticals. You have this, and then if you're Solana and you want the world to come on and build on you, you go to the Visas and MasterCards, you go to the Sonys, you go to the Coca-Cola and Pepsis and stuff, and you say, hey, this is real. This is how much we can scale. It's faster and better than what you have in, you know, traditional world now. Do you want to play? And they go, yeah, I do want to play.
Well, so
Solana,
Amy,
actually, it's funny you said that. They have a market cap that is pretty equivalent to Sony or Starbucks right now. So they're, you know, in that ballpark. Sorry, Alex.
No, just on that note, you know, if Solana is looking, because one of the things I've been seeing a ton of chatter about online that I think would be great to pivot into, because DeFi is super interesting to a lot of the people in our audience. Been seeing a big push on Solana to like focus the lens a little bit more specifically on DeFi stuff in general. I saw that Ramsey was hired to do DeFi growth specifically, which I thought was interesting. That hire timed right then, and it's been interesting to see this. I've learned about some new projects I had never heard of before just through their tweets, kind of highlighting stuff. And I think, I mean, from a methodology standpoint, it kind of makes sense, right? Like stress test the system with a shitload of people doing a whole bunch of memes, kind of let that run its course, figure out stuff, whatever. And then you had the insane volume handle from the Trump launch, coupled with third-party Web 2 software platforms breaking as a result of it. But you know, Solana did the thing. We had a whole episode just about that. So I mean, is that kind of the vibe that you're getting, that you're seeing? Just like, is DeFi really kind of coming a little bit more into the spotlight in the wake of that, or is it kind of always been there and it's just like finally some stuff is finished cooking and ready to have more eyes on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that DeFi is definitely like the hot topic right now. I'd say it's one of the main focuses, but not the main focus that under the hood Solana is kind of going after. I definitely think it's the one that everyone's paying attention to right now. So it has a heavy focus, both from a builder standpoint and from like a user standpoint. I think that that's how we're getting these new people in the door, is just people are seeing the traction, they're seeing the volume, they're seeing this Trump coin, and the Vine coin that kind of went off. There's like another one that has onboarded a handful of people with the noise of Vine potentially coming back. And so it's things like that I think are making people interested in, how do I get involved with trading? How do I get involved with like leverage trading or some of those other things you can do in DeFi? And there's so many tools that you can use to get involved with DeFi, even if it's not like as degenerate as leverage trading is. And like for new people, I don't always recommend it because it is just not a entry level skill. I don't even do it. So I think that it's definitely heavy on the builder side right now. There's so much stuff that's being built because it's what is being asked for right now. But beyond that, like, you always kind of have to think from a builder's perspective on what is going to be the next hot thing that people are interested in. You can't be fully focused on the stuff that's just happening right now. So I know that there's a huge focus on gaming and a huge focus on DePIN, especially under Solana's hood. And so that's what I have been super focused on, is just like what's coming up next. I trade every day and I love DeFi, but I really believe in like the underbelly of using the data, the database that is Solana, to build stuff on top of it.
Let's talk more about use and usable stuff. One of the reasons I think meme coins are appealing is because it's pretty easy to use your credit card on MoonPay to get Trump token when the blockchain is operational. And spoiler alert, it's operational. I want to know though, for people, because your story is, let me be frank, nuts in terms of it's extreme. You went all in on like changing your life. I think we have a lot of listeners, and you know this, who maybe have kids, families, are in different parts of the world that it's not feasible for them to relocate to be close to where this activity is happening necessarily. But Solana as an ecosystem offers a lot more than just really advanced DeFi. And certainly the developers are thinking about products, but they're thinking about them in a way that is responsive to what people seem to actually want or need. That Giorgio asked us here, like, the price seems high. Is it too late to invest? Am I missing something? And in the comments, we're talking about, well, you don't have to buy anything to start using it. So for those people in the audience who can't go on the road, who can't necessarily sit down with the developers, but who want to understand what you're seeing, what kinds of apps or experiences, and we'd love some specific examples, can people start exploring right now to use the Solana network and the things that are built there for themselves today?
Yeah, I mean, so just like getting down to the bare bones of it, people use the the phrasing Web3 when they're talking about stuff that's built in crypto. There's stuff that's built on blockchain, and I hate it. I hate when people say Web3 because I think it's
Really?
unattainable language. I just think it just means nothing, and you have to have the context of what Web 1, Web 2 is to be able to understand what Web 3 is. And that's a whole story that I think people are afraid to ask. And I mean, truthfully, I'll just break it down of what it is so you know.
Please.
That Web 1 is the original internet you think of when they first developed the internet, and that was like available to users, but it was read only. So there's a database that they had, and people were able to access that database, but they weren't able to write on that database. They're only able to read on the internet, and that's Web 1. Web 2 is when you're able to read and write. So things like social media popping up, Wikipedia, like those kinds of things that you're able to engage with the internet and help build it together. That's what Web 2 is, and that's like really what you see and what we are interacting with on the majority of the internet that we deal with now. Web 3 is this idea of read and write, plus you get to own your data. And so that's the goal, is like getting to Web 3. There's very few things that are actually truly Web 3, because that's a whole another like carton of eggs we don't even have to open. But it just is like getting to Web 3 is the goal. And so anything that is decentralized, anything that is built on blockchain they call Web 3 tech. And instead of telling people that I work in Web 3 or Solana is Web 3, I say we're building the new internet. And I think that is a better, more obtainable way of explaining what I do with Solana. And it's not just crypto. It's not just currency that goes up and down that's volatile. There's stuff that's being built on top of the Solana network as a database, and using the database as a structure to be able to have things that people can own their data with. And so, for instance, one of the companies that I work with, I just have it charging right now. I'm not even wearing it, but it's called a Kudus ring. And a Kudus ring is like the Aura ring or a Whoop band or things like that. But instead of a big company owning all your data from your wellness journey of your sleep or your exercise, you have all of your data on chain and you own it. And if you choose to sell that data so the company can go use that data and sell it, you get tokens and you get paid for like giving up your data. And
instead of just getting robbed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
wow.
there's so many different products. Kudus is like a really great way for me to onboard people to what crypto is as a database and not just as like volatile meme coins. It's like a really cool use case for Solana. So I love introducing people to Kudus Wellness, and many other DePIN products that kind of are like that. And like you see that with Hive Mapper, which is another cool product that's built on Solana. And Hive Mapper is decentralized mapping. And there's like maps are one of the biggest things, like one of the biggest businesses that are in the globe right now. And there's a monopoly on mapping, and how like if you need to use mapping on your website or for your company's data or anything, you have to pay large corporations that own these maps a lot of money. So what Hive Mapper is doing is they are making their own maps using the community, and they are going out and remapping the globe. And you can be a part of remapping the globe by being a part of the Hive Mapper ecosystem if you get into the group that is like going out and driving cars around and mapping and doing it as you drive. And you get paid to participate in that mapping ecosystem. And there's many, and you get paid in this honey token. And then there's, I don't know, I could tell you 20 of these other things that are built that they're just trying to decentralize or not have one big company that owns all your data. We own the data and we get to do it together. And it's a I don't know, a cool way to use.
Like a shared value proposition.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what is the name of Kudus? How do I spell that? How do folks at home look it up?
Kudus, I'll type it in our chat here.
Yeah, and we will put a link for this and all the stuff that Amy talks about tonight in the Discord server. We'll link back to it if we don't get to it on the description. Hive Mapper too. I'm curious, you mentioned DPIN, which folks at the home might not know is decentralized physical infrastructure. This Web3 thing that Amy is talking about, this ownership revolution,
This
is
new
made
internet
possible.
thing.
This newfangled internet thing is made possible in part by changing the problem with Web 2, which is that all the stuff we use, all the apps, a handful of companies own it, and we use it at their discretion, according to their terms and conditions, which we agree to, that allows them to extract that data and it flows to the top because they own the hardware, they own the networks that we create the value on. But by distributing, or we say decentralizing this structure, by instead keeping the data on a blockchain, which is like a distributed network with many different computers that are responsive to the users and owners of the network, then it's not susceptible to whatever Mark Zuckerberg wants to do today or Jeff Bezos wants to do today. And I think one of the challenges with bringing that ownership proposition to fruition, and I'd be curious just to know what you think. Don't let me get too in the weeds here, guys. I feel like we're kind of in this world right now, Web 2.5, where we have not yet fully started to imagine the potential for token incentives. Like in HiveMapper, it seems to me the incentive for most people is to accumulate tokens as early as possible, as fast as possible, while other people still want them in order to sell them for money. And that eventually enough people will have done this that if the app is no good, I've heard reports from some folks that say they like it, say they don't, and all that there is a token. How do we iterate that? Not to pick on HiveMapper after you just gave them that like glowing review, but I see a lot of projects like that. And that's like one of my personal gripes is like, well, how are we going to scale this to 1 million people if the only incentive is I'm going to pay you in this token that only exists to turn back into cash and kind of tanks the value of my project? Am I getting it wrong?
No, I think that you're exactly on the money. That it's putting the hands in the back. It's putting the power in the hands of the people again, and taking it away from these large corporations. I just did a video on my page about another one of these companies. It's like the same thing that's called Helium. And Helium used to be its own network, and then they chose to build on top of Solana, and they bridged over and are building on top of Solana now because it makes sense to build on top of Solana. But what Helium is decentralized internet. And you have your hotspot, and you can go put that anywhere. So if you have a local coffee shop or if you have an apartment or whatever, where a lot of people need to use the internet, essentially it's just a place to ping the internet and help grow the internet. And you get paid in rewards to be a part of building that Helium network as a internet use case. And so, but it's putting the power in the back of the hands of the people and paying people for building that decentralized internet that eventually there won't be a paid structure to it because it will be built completely and we won't have to reward people anymore as the goal. But as we scale these different type of DPIN products, it helps solve problems without having these large corporations have all of the power, all of the money, owning all of our data and causing all these problems for people all over the world.
In Solana,
Okay, cool.
in the DPIN ecosystem, which ones, because I mean, like the biggest by market cap is Render, I believe. You have Helium that's around. You have a couple others also. But market cap doesn't always match adoption, right?
Totally.
So which DPIN projects on Solana have the most adoption amongst their targeted audience, or the ones that have been growing and have been, in your eyes, maybe that you know of, the most successful out the gate in case they're new and therefore maybe smaller?
I think that, there's been a handful of different ones that have tried some things, and it's hard to do. You have to have a really good business development team and a really great marketing team, and then be able to scale. Like the tech just takes a lot to scale, and it costs a lot of money to run these.
Also, thank you for saying that you need a good marketing team, because you do.
The show is not sponsored by Solana, but it could be.
It could be.
Let me see who I can talk to. There's tons of projects that are really cool. And I think that come out the gate and the idea is really awesome, but it's getting the adoption is the hard part, right, William? And being able to scale it. And then also having that scale with market cap and having people buy into it, or the tokenomics being the right structure is hard too, because there's a lot of people who used to do the Hive Mapper thing, and Honey's payout is just like not as strong as it used to be way back in the day when you're an early adopter. But when you are an early adopter to some of these products, it gives you pretty great rewards. And so it is kind of like still convincing people to be a part of the network as it scales, even though the rewards aren't as tasty as they are when you first start, and like getting people to believe in the purpose of it. And so it's like really finding the right underbelly community and having them be loud enough to want to bring more people into that system. But I'd say Helium and Render are two of the loudest, most successful products that I know of. Kudus is definitely like growing and is really cool, and that's one that I'm supporting with marketing, and I've been an ambassador for them for like almost a year now. Hive Mapper is definitely up there. There was one that was called Teleport for a while that was really cool. That was decentralized Uber.
That's right. Really?
Did you really? I took
sure
a teleport. I'm giving you a point just for saying that phrase.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
I took a teleport.
I did. It was very interesting. I had Mac and I took it together when we were at Consensus last year, and the guy basically said that he really wanted it to be cool, and he like was giving it, what he considered a fair shake, but he said it was really tough because, you post your availability and there wasn't really a lot of demand for it. So it was hard to like silo yourself there as a driver who needed to rely on it for income, because that's what he used Lyft and Uber for. So he ran all three simultaneously. But he was a blockchain fan, but honestly, Evan, we probably would have really liked him. He seemed like he was pretty upset about most crypto, but he really liked blockchain. So he really wanted this to be good. And he was just sort of grumpy about it. But it was cool. He said he was going to keep going. He was providing a lot of feedback to the Teleport team about it, because there were not very many drivers actively using it, and they were heavily soliciting feedback. And he said that the one thing that was encouraging was that they were always like listening, even if it wasn't big enough to really be a viable like income strategy for him. But he did say that the rate was better. So when he could get a ride with it, and he usually just turned it on during the big crypto conferences in the area.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Alex, I just want to interrupt to say, you and I could have a book called Stories About Crypto and Cars. I feel like we end up together and also apart in a lot of cars where we're like talking to people. Who's that Uber driver who had like the trading card NFT thing and the connection to the Cuban baseball teams? And you remember what I'm talking about?
I do.
Listen,
I do remember that. That was a wild one.
We have some weird ones. It's not a good time for that conversation.
But also,
remind me about it later.
I've had a number of Uber drivers tell me that, well, they're only buying Doge because of Grant Cardone or something. I'm like, oh, sweet baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna ding the Uber drivers into crypto.
I had a couple thoughts that had occurred to me when we were talking about this incentive problem around tokens. One thing that I would love to see more of in places like Solana, because they could do it. If they lean into this, they could do it. And I'm sure that there's some instances of it, but this was one of the biggest things that ultimately finally pushed me out of trying anymore with Multiverse X when we were doing stuff over there years ago, was the fact that like I was repeatedly screaming into the void that we have all these people on this blockchain building things with tokens, and none of our tokens do anything with each other, and they're all compatible. They're all in the same ecosystem. So if you have a thing like Honey through Hive Mapper, and your whole proposition is to pull people in and give them this token, you really need to be focused hardcore on setting up reasons and ways for people to use the token you're giving them to get better experiences on all the other shit on the same blockchain. And it's insane to me that that's not the first thing I hear talked about, that like, hey, you're going to get this token, and guess what? It gets you a better rate on this DeFi protocol, and it gets you a different liquidity pool option over here, and it gives you a discount here. And
however, if you buy the token for the centralized cryptocurrency exchanges, you get discounts and better rates and stuff like that. But we don't do it
almost
on the
like they
native
get it.
blockchain stuff. Yeah, it's almost
Okay,
like
but
they're
also I feel like a
actually
lot of
well-run
these
businesses.
products, like we're talking about, you know, I bet the Kudus ring will do this. I bet what was the first phone, not the Seeker, but the Saga phone.
Saga.
Yes.
Our friend Dave, you know, we're talking about how everyday people can get involved. You may not be part of the next Uber, but by participating in these protocols, getting these devices, doing this stuff, you're building an on-chain reputation. And that's my favorite story is our friend Dave. He's a really hip guy. But he, you know, has a career. He works in Web 2, you know, very successful, and is just kind of doing this as an enthusiast. And he's quite enthusiastic about it. He was in the Starbucks Odyssey beta. He got the Saga phone, and he got airdrops of Bonk. He has made collectively a lot of like money, but also has earned a really strong on-chain reputation as somebody who is like an early adopter of this tech that other companies will be looking at if they want to release something, whether it's a product or a token or a discount in the future. That it's on chain, it's forever, right?
Get you a Dave. You're building a protocol. Get you a Dave.
Get you a Dave, man. He is a
Bullish
power
on
user.
Dave.
Do you want to know
Bullish on
something
Dave.
funny?
Yes.
The Saga phone, the Solana phone. I am one of the main reasons that those things sold out, because I posted a viral video of me saying that if you have this phone, you have like thousands of dollars worth of bonk on this phone, and these phones flew. Anatoly, Solana, famously calls me his favorite phone salesman. I sold like out on my own code because I was working with Solana Mobile as a brand ambassador at the time. I think I sold 11,000 units of the Solana phone,
Damn.
and there were 20 total.
Whoa.
We have to have we have a guy in our community. His name's Tech CEO. We call him our best coffee mug salesman. But Tech CEO, you gotta step up. You gotta
step up your numbers, man.
Gotta step up your numbers, man.
Yeah, give me a ref link and I'll go toe to toe with him.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Well, yeah, you guys, we have a friend of mine, Andrew. I'm going to out you here. He's a mobile developer, first and foremost, and he worked on Saga.
Wait, I know Andrew.
Yeah, I'm sure Andrew is one of the my top like Solana teachers, has been for a long time. And yeah, he is wonderful. But he will tell you that how Bonk saved Saga. And it just like ignited this, you know, they were like throwing in the towel on Seeker. It was like getting really tough and they were not too sure about it. And Saga was like, you know, doing okay, but it's the first like real big hardware device. Like it wasn't, you know, absolutely dominating. And then Bonk saved it. And so like the joke around the Saga office was just like, you know, Bonk is the reason that all of us have a job right now. They weren't quite sure how they felt about that. And then of course it just ended up kind of igniting this frenzy and this craze. And now, of course, you know, I've seen Totally talk a little bit about Seeker and all that sort of stuff, but the pre-orders on Seeker are just insane, probably heavily because of that. But also, obviously, you know, quick shout out, MKBHD talked about the Saga, and I thought gave it what I would consider a pretty solid review. Wasn't like, you know, he bankrupted Fisker and then shit on a bunch of those little AI things. But you know, said Saga was like an okay phone, which is pretty sweet coming from someone like that. So I'm excited about that whole thing, which makes me also very excited to hopefully someday soon, Amy, looking at you, get my hands on a PSG-1 because I really, really want to test that thing out.
Alex, what's the PSG-1 for our audience?
Yeah,
it's Solana's Game Boy.
I'm an ambassador for them too. Let's run it.
Yes.
Amy, we need at least two. I don't know if Evan cares much.
Okay,
Evan,
I would play it. I would
Okay.
play it.
Get 3. Send 2 to me, 1 to Alex.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Amy, that's the other thing I want to know is, so obviously like you spent a lot of time, you got to build a lot of relationships, and that like social capital and the closeness, the proximity is probably 1,000x investment every time. But do you have any advice for people who want to get that kind of proximity or do what you do? Like, you know, I would say that's been the most valuable thing I've done in crypto, is just get to know people and spend time with them and see what they're building and express my interest in participating. But, you know, a lot of folks are not coders, they're not developers, and they might want to participate in a professional capacity like you do. What's your word of wisdom for people like that?
So I just think that this is like the coolest ecosystem to start anew and start a career in, even if you don't have experience that's on paper, but you have a skill set and you have a passion. If you have a skill set and you have a passion and you know your like life why, you will be able to find a home in the crypto Web3 Solana ecosystem, wherever you want to land. There's so much need for different types of people with different types of skill sets. I do a ton of hiring for companies. That's like why company, like I was just talking to the CEO of Metaplex today when I was at this hacker house that's called Mountain Dow that I'm at right now in Utah. And talking to him, they're hiring a bunch of different people in product, or they're hiring some new people in marketing, or they need a communications person, or they need a community manager. There's like a bajillion different roles, copywriting, people who work on the social media side of things, people who work in legal, people who like, if you have a skill set that applies anywhere and you just like certain things, and even if it's not skills, but it's like, these are the things that I'm really good at in life. Like for me, I used to be a teacher. I love explaining things. I love entertaining people. I love communicating and synergizing people. I love like meeting somebody who needs something, meeting someone else who needs something, and putting those two people together. That is like my favorite thing in the world, is like watching something blossom from building relationships. So relationships, people, experiences, entertainment are like my why on earth. And that has a great space for me to grow in Solana and crypto. So I just think if you can figure out your skill set and figure out your why, you can find jobs in this ecosystem easily. And even if it's not paid jobs and you're just kind of looking to get your toes into the eco, like you just want to dip your toes in the ecosystem a little bit, you can find a company that you just really believe in and start doing stuff for them. Say, hey, how can I help you? What are some gaps you guys have? And then assess yourself and be like, okay, I could probably help with this. And then you help them. And now you have a resume of, I helped build this company. And then you can go, that's how I did it. I just started helping people out and started giving my skills to different people. And then I'm good at a bunch of different things, but then I figured out these are actually the things I like doing every day. And I want to actually do these things. And even though I can do all of these things, I want to do these things. So I just say dabble and find things that you believe in the ecosystem and figure out how you can work with them, because they are always looking for people that believe in what they're building and have a skill set that can help them grow.
Very cool.
I will say too, the number one out, this is how I started. This is how Evan started. This is how everyone that I have ever worked with in crypto has started until Will. Was literally joining a Discord server. Like, we all found each other in Discord just being generally helpful and friendly. And all of a sudden, like, an idea for a startup gets born and the right person.
Like an oasis in a desert of just awful internet culture. Oh my God, you're nice. Oh, please.
No, for real. I mean,
that's me. That was me and all my friends.
Yeah. That was Faceless Labs. That was the original company that was founded, was Mac in a Discord, and I was like helping him moderate it because I had followed him on social media. And then he was like, hey, I want to do something legit. And 5 of us were like, yep, let's do it. And all 6 of us are still to this day in a daily group chat, because that was just the original group. That's
the original situation room.
You want to get started working Web3, join a Discord server with people that you vibe with and just start participating. You'd be amazed like how often that turns into a career if you push.
Or you can be like me and start making cringy content that no one watches for about a year and a half or 2. And then you start to figure it out. Yeah.
Can I get some dolphins in the chat for Will?
No.
Oh yeah, good. Beautiful. The sound of my people.
Content creation in Web3, that is the secret sauce. Because then what do? I get free media passes to every conference I want to go to because I just talk about it online. And all of a sudden, I'm getting $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 press hookups just to show up. And conferences are the best to do media hookups with. They expect nothing. You sign nothing. You talk about it. You post that you're there. You create a couple videos about it. They don't require anything. And all of a sudden, you're in press. Press is always VIP. that's the true secret sauce. Like that is one of the reasons I continue to push on content, because I got that one thing was like, hey, do you want to go to the Bitcoin conference for free? He's like, you bet your ass. And then I went to 30 more conferences, literally 30 over the next couple of years. So bullish. Make content, post the video.
Not just content, but building your personal brand.
Everything.
because
Yeah,
it's easy
that's
to
what
add
it is.
value that way.
Ultimately, making content, it's not a good way to think about it that way, in my opinion. It's about you're building your brand. You know, it's even if it's just your own personal Instagram, it is a brand. If people who don't know you go to your Instagram page, they get a sense of who you are, even if you're not trying to get into this crypto space, right? You know, every single thing that you do, people you associate yourselves, and the stuff you put on the internet, which is easily accessible to everybody, is the brand that you're putting forward. And you want to put a good, strong brand forward if you want to get certain things, right? It's just the way the world works.
I mean, if you want to get value, you got to give value, and you have something that is valuable to someone, even if it's not apparent to you right now. The way that you show up matters, and if you're at the conference for free, you might as well talk to some people, and you might as well leave a good impression in their minds, so they say, "God, I'd like to talk to that guy again." And then, of course, you could.
I know, Evan, you were talking to the
that's
audience
just
when you
bullshit.
said those really nice things, but it felt like you were talking to me, and I feel really special now. So thanks.
This is a gross misunderstanding.
Listen, pal. Listen. Don't push your luck. Don't
Okay,
push your
so
luck.
real
get
quick,
guamped.
I want to highlight a couple tweets. So
Let's do it.
Amy, you sent one that I think would be good to highlight, but I also have to highlight a very special tweet, just because it actually is a relatively important day in Solana's history, or in Solana's lifetime. And so we're gonna go to
He's
who
already
else
ready.
but Mert for this bad boy.
Trying to
Oh,
get up that nervous.
gosh.
So
What is happening here?
he's apparently in the UAE, and
Oh.
it's February the 6th. So it's been one full year since Solana's last outage.
Nice.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is
That
huge.
is huge.
Honestly, truly, like that's a big deal. Considering that we just had $2 billion of liquidations, more than at any time in our space's history. We had the launch of the Trump token. I mean, what a time to be alive.
that, and
First of
also
all-
in the past 24 hours, XRP's ledger went down for an hour.
I'm sorry, what?
It
Oh yeah,
sure
you guys
did.
didn't see that? Yeah, it went down for
Yeah.
a whole hour, and then spontaneously revived itself.
64 minutes to be exact, and
Yeah.
we're not sure why. We've heard that it did, and that everything is good, and it's back up and running, but we haven't really gotten the why yet. So perfect timing. But the number of
What a
times
good
Mert
meme by
has
Mert.
tweeted this meme, like in the last week, is like more than 5.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of this one. But
I can see why.
Yeah.
On to something a little bit more substantive. Amy, you shared this one. Do you want to talk us through what
Alex,
we're
can you
looking
give
at
me
here?
Yeah.
just a little?
If you want to zoom in a little bit to that picture and we can kind of like explore it, but this is like Mazzari puts this thing out once a quarter, and it's a really great recap of what's happening in Solana. And so I think that following Mazzari Crypto is pretty good because they put this out once a quarter, and I pay attention to these, and this is something I direct people to when people are like, nothing is of importance being built on Solana. Like, it's only meme coins over there. It's all vaporware. I'm like, well, let me show you the Solana map that Mazzari put out because it will paint a very different picture.
We'll scroll. Let's see what that map
Yeah.
looks like.
Gotcha.
So if you go down to the map,
He's a little slow.
Hey, some of us are doing chat management at the same time that we're doing all the screen sharing. All right.
What? You are absolutely
No.
wild.
Listen to me. Someday the gerbil running your computer is going to get some steroids, and you'll be able to do one of these things too.
yeah.
Don't come for me.
And it'll be a whole brave new world.
Okay, explain the map, Amy. Explain the map. Tell me what
So-
we're looking at.
This is it's been growing slowly but surely every quarter, and it truly is an incomplete map because there's things on this map that I know that are missing, but these are like some really strong projects that I think that everyone can co-sign, that these are performing really well and are leading in each of their categories. So it's got DEXs, it's got lending protocols, it's got yield farming protocols, it's got RWAs, it's got meme coins, it's got like NFT projects, it's got creator platforms, it's got D-pins, and I know you mentioned Blinks in a couple episodes ago, Evan. There's got a couple of different places where you can look at Blinks
yeah.
and payment processing, and like different ways that where they're using payment. My brain it's 7 o'clock, gentlemen, and I've been on calls all day, so I'm
It's okay. It's after dark, so
Yeah,
just
I
let
know
your hair
where-
down.
as
Say
a
something
moment.
wild.
Yeah, payment systems and just different cool things. AI agents are like a new hot topic, and those have been included in this map. Wallets, shout out Soulflare, my favorite hot wallet on Solana, and then just like many different things. And these are great products that you can look into if you're looking for things that are built in the Solana ecosystem that are in some of these categories you're looking to deep dive into. This is the map to go to kind of get started. Follow these projects, look into these projects. It's a great research starter kit.
And I would add that the Masari report that this came from, they have a whole section on Solana, and very much the theme is they're establishing themselves in kind of this category of one alongside maybe Ethereum and Bitcoin and the years that they have had. It's a really good recounting of the numbers and the narrative, and I highly recommend it. It's totally free. They put it out every year, the Masari Theses. If you search for it, it'll come up even if you spell it wrong, and we've got it in the Discord. So yeah, that's I want to know what you think about. You said Soulflare is your favorite wallet. I don't think I've ever used Soulflare. I'm a Phantom
I've never
guy.
used it myself. I've just used Phantom. Yeah.
By the end of
That's a
this
strong
call,
endorsement.
you guys will be red pilled, and you will all have a Soulflare wallet. I promise you, because I was an ambassador for Soulflare before I was an ambassador for Soulflare. It is, in my opinion, the elite wallet if you are using the Solana ecosystem. Phantom, I use it for Ethereum because I refuse to use MetaMask anymore. That is a dead wallet to me. I just hate the process. I hate the experience. I'll use
They
Phantom.
haven't updated that UI in 5 years.
It's just like, I don't think I just think that Ethereum is a dinosaur and they all just quit. I just think everyone spins around in their chairs in the office over there. I don't know what's going on because the UX UI has not changed one bit.
Comfort him.
Fired.
MetaMask is terrible. OpenSea is terrible. All these apps on Ethereum, they just haven't changed. So they got stomped out by a bunch of Solana products that led Solana first. And Phantom was the first one out the gate that really made a lot of noise. But if you are mainly transacting on Solana, I prefer to use Solana first products that are Solana only products, because when like you're looking at a multi-chain product, which Phantom has become, they have multi-chain problems, and that requires multi-chain developers and scaling and issues. And like if you notice, like during the last few days, like the Phantom wallet had like issues with like the balance showing all zeros when you looked at your balance. There was issues during the Trump launch. There was like a handful of issues that people had with the Phantom wallet.
There's also a live issue that I have been waiting to watch a patch come for that we were talking about in Discord the other day, with transaction simulations are not working properly, and so fees are displaying a lot higher than they actually are because the transactions are not being simulated properly.
And I'll tell you where none of those problems exist. None of those problems exist on Soulflare. The transaction, like showing the transactions is great. You also get a notification every time Solana, a meme coin, any SPL is deposited into your wallet. So you get like a push notification, which I personally like. I love that feature. So like there's many other wallets that don't do that, and I don't know why. But that's like just a very simple UX UI bonus that I have from using Soulflare. I think that it's clean, it's fast, the fees are better, and it's a Solana native product that it's never going to be on Ethereum. It's never going to be it's never going to accept any other blockchain. It is just a Solana wallet. So if you are transacting on Solana and you are using meme coins on Solana, having a Soulflare wallet, in my opinion, is the best premier wallet, bar none. I will put to my grave, I will be using a Soulflare wallet, and I promise you'll like it if you try it.
All right, I'll give it a shot, but you know, the Phantom logo is cute and adorable, but I will try Soulflare.
I will say cute. That just like Amy said, I use both. It's interesting. I've never phrased it the way that you just phrased it, Amy, and I think that's a better way of saying it. I prefer Phantom because of the multi-chain. And because I do a lot of stuff on Base, and right now I am admittedly a little salty with Coinbase because of specifically their handling of messaging around the Solana debacle with the Trump launch. I think they tried to pin it on Sol, and it was unfair, and I really didn't care for the way that they messaged that. So I use the Coinbase Smart Wallet quite a bit, admittedly, but I also like Phantom for Base.
All my homies hate Coinbase. All my homies hate
My homies hate Coinbase.
I mean,
savage.
To be fair, though, there's been a little bit of bickering going on between people in the Solana ecosystem looking at the way that Coinbase has been displaying Solana messaging on the platform. Like I've seen a few Mert had pointed out, like specifically just weird digs at the network in favor of Base. Like, like obviously, promote your product, advertise Base, do the thing, but you don't get to like make shit up about other networks that are not Base to do it.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, like, it just is, it's bad practice. It's embarrassing, if I might say, that they have to lie to make their token look like it's more, it's a tastier token to be playing around.
I mean, Base doesn't have a token though. Do you think they're lying on purpose? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But who?
I mean, the fees thing. I just think it's marketing.
The fees thing, the latency on how long it takes to do stuff. I mean, like, I tweeted this today and I put it in our little back chat here, Evan or whoever's going to share it.
I missed it.
Yeah. But I tweeted out, all my homies hate Coinbase because this is the messaging they put out today from the Coinbase website about Solana latency, and it just is like unacceptable. And underneath this tweet, one of the guys that is formerly from Solana commented and said he tagged a product guy from Coinbase and said win fix, and he responded and said that it should be back up and running in a handful of hours, but it said that they're trying to get all of that figured out. But I just think I don't know. I really don't know what they're doing over at Coinbase. I think that there's a lot of people that are hardcore Solana users, and people have frozen accounts. They've got issues with delayed sends and receiving and transactions on Solana. And when mainly people are transacting on Solana, that's where the volume is. Having one of the top centralized exchanges having these kinds of issues and also lying about it is just not a bad look. It's a pretty bad look. So I think that Coinbase is about to lose market share.
I just feel like Coinbase is a huge company that probably has one of the most robust PR teams in the crypto space. I can't imagine that they're sitting in a room and saying, you know what we should do, guys? We should lie about this. I think they probably are fumbling more than they are lying, because they have so much to risk. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, telling a lie like that could get you in serious liable trouble, don't you think?
Particularly as a publicly traded company.
That's the interesting part. That because Evan, I think it's more negligent than it is mischievous. I'm mostly with you though. The one thing that really made me think, like, wait a second, like, what is this? Is when, I can't remember his name. I'll find the tweet, assuming it's still up. But there was one of the product management heads from Coinbase. He's a product guy. Mert had quote tweeted him because during all of the drama, this dude was on there saying, like, it's not Solana, it's us. And he posted that, and everyone was like, cool, thanks, appreciate the admission. And then that tweet was still up like a couple hours later. I just remember seeing it being like, this is so weird that it took this guy being like, hey, because of course Mert does what Mert does. He tweets two things: shit posts and very detailed like
and
technical
spot on bullseyes
of exactly like what is happening. Wrote this big thing about exactly what was wrong. Mert used to work at Coinbase, was a problem at that back then too. And I just remember thinking, like, this is really odd, because we talk about it all the time. Coinbase, I maintain to this day, and all of this notwithstanding, has the best free educational resource on the internet for cryptocurrency. It's Crypto Duolingo. Coinbase's Learn and Earn project or platform is incredible. I've loved it for years. I wish that they would put more resources into making that bigger. It could be the coolest thing of all time. But this is weird. This is undoubtedly weird. And I'm so confused by it because it's not that complicated. And the proof is all over the place. And there's still no statement. And there's also just this avalanche of people who are getting stonewalled by customer support.
Oh, yeah.
And are then having to tweet at them to get any attention only after it blows up. It's exactly what happened with me and MoonPay the other day when I couldn't get the thing to go through because USAA wouldn't approve it. And so I tweeted at USAA, and all of a sudden customer service couldn't wait to help me.
See, but I just think that's pretty typical for big companies of a certain size. That's like the PR handbook is.
One person, maybe 30, 40 people every day that I'm just watching, like, why am I still blocked? Why have I been blocked for months? And then Brian personally replying to people just like, this is weird. Let's look into this.
Yeah, that's bad.
Brian,
That's bad.
you've posted this 60 times today. Like, maybe a statement, like shit breaks. I am so forgiving. If just one statement, tell me what's going on. I'm like, cool, good, fix it. Love it. We're a new industry. I'm totally forgiving. But I don't like obfuscation. Not a fan. Anyway, that was a rant. Sorry.
One of our friends, Jason, in the comments said, Solana should make a Coinbase meme coin and rug it.
Amy's like, hold that thought.
Hang on, let me.
It'd be great though.
Line for a few minutes, gentlemen.
I got to text you.
Right.
So, okay, so the ecosystem map, that is really cool. I did put it in Discord if you guys wanted to see a better picture of it. I know on TikTok the image of it was really small. So if you want to see it, I do love those big ecosystem maps, and this one is relatively up to date. I know, Jason, I think you were saying that you were looking for a newer one. But no, I think so. We touched on some big niches, right? We've got obviously memes that are a thing that have put a lot of eyes here. And then looking at the rest of it, we've got movement in DePIN. There's renewed focus or new focus on DeFi. Amy, is there anything else that you are like particularly stoked about that we haven't really covered yet? That's either maybe not getting the attention you think it should?
I mean, I think that it's getting attention. I just don't think that, like, I'd like to scream about it more. And that's the payment rails that are choosing Solana as their blockchain of choice to merge with when they're adopting crypto. They're choosing Solana. So that's like Visa, that's Sphere, that's Shopify, that's a bunch of different cool big companies that are bringing in Solana as their partner. Stripe being one of the new ones. They're partnering with Solana either for microtransactions and using Solana as like the network for microtransactions, or they are allowing Solana to be, like Solana USDC to be a payment rail for people to pay in crypto. Mm-hmm. So I think that those are really cool moments that we're seeing in just the payment sector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a question relating to the gaming sector, when you look at Ethereum and Avalanche, and Ethereum, you have like Immutable X, you have Base has their own little gaming environment now as well. Avalanche has Beam and Merit Circle DAO that really like to focus on, gaming focused, solutions to help gamers come and game developers come build games more easily and quickly. All that kind of stuff could provide them resources, things like that. In Solana, I'm at least unaware, or I just don't know that there's something like that exists. And I'm curious if there is, and if not, why you think maybe Solana may or may not need it. Maybe that's because Solana is just not too focused on gaming, although you have Star Atlas and things like that that's been building for a while. So I was just curious to get your take on that, because I've been keeping an eye out for something like that in Solana, and I just haven't heard of it. Maybe I don't know.
Well, there's an SVM that just launched. It's like a layer 2 of Solana. That's called Sonic SVM. Are you familiar with it? Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, yes.
It's a rebrand of Phantom, right?
Yeah. Not to be confused with the wallet.
No, this is Phantom with an F that used to be an ETH layer 2. First it was its own layer 1, then it was an ETH layer 2, unless I'm misremembering, but now it's... And can you just quickly explain what an SVM is, or help us understand it?
It's Solana. It stands for Solana Virtual Machine, which is just
Right.
a bunch of words that if you're not really technical, it's a hard thing to explain. But it is just I don't know how to normie this down. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, let me take a crack at it, and you tell me if you
Okay.
hate it. And if I get it right, I'm giving myself 2 points.
This
Too
game is
slow on
rigged.
this one, Alex. It is any protocol that provides infrastructure that is compatible with the way the Solana network does things. It settles to the base layer of Solana. If Solana is the city, this is like a building in the city that connects to the plumbing, the sewer, the electric, and hosts space for businesses. The analogy would be Ethereum virtual machine. Polygon is EVM compatible. Base is EVM compatible. So to say it's SVM compatible is just to say it settles to that
it connects to
base
the
layer.
power line that is Solana. That's the underlying chain. I think that's a great way to say it.
Good enough for me. I'll take them. Thank you very much.
But they are very gaming focused, and honestly, they have a TikTok layer, which is pretty cool. And have been building cool stuff in the TikTok realm. And I was being
people can register for the airdrop. I saw your video about it, and I had done it before that, but then I was like, "Oh shit!" Now Amy's talking about it. We're about to go.
I don't think you can. I don't know if you can do it anymore. I don't quote me on that, but you can go find Sonic SVM on TikTok and look into it here because they have a huge presence here and are pushing that heavily here. But it's like the gaming layer on TikTok. If you see like gaming and stuff like that's happening on TikTok, they have a lot of focus there for onboarding. And then there's some cool stuff that's coming out of that realm. I know William already mentioned Star Atlas. There's like a bunch of other games that I can name. Aurora being a good one. Photo Finish. I don't know if you've heard of Photo Finish.
No, is it like a Pokemon Snap kind of game?
No, it's a horse racing game.
I was about to say, it sounds like horse racing. Yeah.
Makes sense.
They're partnered with the Kentucky Derby. So
wow. Sick.
That's huge.
They just reached out to me a couple days ago to see if I want to do something, go to the Kentucky Derby and be alongside Photo Finish. But it is really
you can get such a nice hat. Those hats that the ladies get to wear.
Oh yeah, right.
Can you make a whiff
like,
hat?
Where else
I've got
do you get to wear that?
Where's my hat? I've got a bunch of hats that look like whiff hats. I'll send you one. You can wear them on top of your
fascinator. I love your hats, and your hair is flowing tonight, Evan. And I have to say, someone in the comments on my Twitter said, I thought that Evan was Weird Al Yankovic at first.
He's got luscious locks, let me tell you. That person gets a point.
That person gets a point. You're in the game.
I laughed pretty hard. But there's a ton of really cool games. The Heist is another one that had been building for a while. Portals, Geno Pets. There's a cool app called Cupcake. I don't know. There's a bunch of people that are kind of taking a stab at it. We've already mentioned Play Solana, which is that new gaming console that's coming out that everyone's very excited about to see what kind of comes out of that world. But there are some cool stuff being built in the Solana ecosystem for gaming. And then gaming infrastructure. There's a bunch of people that are heavily focused on that at Breakpoint this past year, which is the premier Solana conference of the year. And if you don't go to Consensus, which I think is the best like multi-chain conference, and you're really like, I want to learn more about Solana, I would recommend that you either go to Breakpoint, which is usually abroad in Asia or Europe, or they have one that's new that is like a made in America midpoint that they're calling it this year. That's happening at in New York City in May, I believe. And so it will be a like made in America crypto focused kind of thing that they're trying to run up every year now that like things have kind of shifted, and it sounds like we're going to see some regulation and cool things happening in the crypto world from the top down government side. And so they're trying to lean into that pretty heavily. And so excited to kind of see what comes out of that in May. But at Breakpoint this past September in Singapore, I got to see some really cool stuff. And from the gaming side, they had a whole gaming hub that was highlighting all these different new games that were coming out. And there's a ton of support from the ecosystem in that. But Photo Finish was one of those that was highlighted. They just did a huge raise, and their partnership with the Kentucky Derby is massive.
That's cool.
It's a fun game though. So I don't know if that answered your question, William, or if
No, you did, and then you expanded upon it even more. So thank you, I appreciate it. Gaming was the first use case I heard in crypto outside of Bitcoin, and then Ethereum in 2017, but like gaming was when I first like found an altcoin use case where I was like, wait a second. Started diving into some of the benefits. I was like, this actually solves real world pain points. And I just like shoved all their coins aside that were all just like fugazis. And I was like, wait a second, this can actually get people on the blockchain one day, like normal day people who aren't crazy into like finance and all that kind of stuff. My biggest thing is trying to tell people as you research your altcoins, both cameras here, find projects that can actually get adoption amongst their targeted audience. Because if they do, that means they actually provide value.
Totally. And I will also say this, I don't know if you guys had seen this, but FaZe Banks has been pushing this meme coin recently that's called MLG. And it has like this whole culture that's like gaming culture. And he's like not only trying to push this like token, which obviously is a thing, but he's also trying to push gaming culture and like merging like traditional gamers with Web3 and teaching them about the Web3 ecosystem. And I think that merger is going to bring out a phase of Web3 gaming and bring that to light. And we're going to see more streamers that are big time streamers playing Web3 games and dabbling a little bit more in that. So they were just on Aiden Ross's stream, which he's a huge streamer, and talking about that there. FaZe Banks started Probably Nothing, which is like Frank and Thread Guy and all those guys. Like it's his crypto version of the FaZe Clan, which is like one of the world's biggest streaming houses, you know? And so I think that Web3 gaming, I've been really interested early on, and I invested a ton of NFTs back in the day of when these games launched, and like, well, who knows if that's going to come to fruition and make me any money on any of those that I invested in, but I really believe in it. And so if it makes me money or not, like I like that I invested in some of these games early days. So
yeah, I'm really rooting for Star Atlas because I overpaid for a number of special rocket chips, and so I'm just like, come on, I don't care. I'm still holding on to the hope that one day I'll get to be a pirate and like take somebody's actual like money and take their ship and then go and sell it, and it's an NFT and I get real money for it. I'm like, come on.
Well.
I bought some good ships too, and at the time that stuff was expensive.
Oh, yeah.
On the topic,
also we're on the same boat. No pun intended.
I'll be shooting broadsides at one another in Star Atlas space one day.
I think you guys did it wrong. I have been like a free player in Gods Unchained for a lengthy time, and got stuff to show for it. That game is cool as hell. Shout out.
But do you have a spaceship?
I mean, I also have Star Atlas stuff, so.
All right, fine.
I'm just saying.
But do you own a horse track in Photo Finish? Because
no.
I am a partial owner in a horse track.
Ooh.
I cannot. That is not a boast that I can make. And I do have to say, just on the topic, because it was perfect timing, and maybe his ears were burning. Icy in here with the obvious shout out. Web3 gaming is inevitable. I do firmly believe that. Just like Will said, it's one of those things. It's like DeFi, memes, and gaming are about the only three niches in crypto that have managed to achieve adoption and interest with their actual target audience.
And Bitcoin
cannot
stablecoins too.
Bitcoin. Yeah, some stable coins too.
We're getting there, man.
Okay.
We're getting there.
We're getting there slowly. It just takes every
we got
4
5
years.
product market fits.
Every 4 years, we get one more product market fit.
To be fair, I was putting stablecoins firmly in the DeFi category as a major.
Okay, I would accept that.
Right,
I would accept that.
Right. Yeah. It's acceptable.
But
That's acceptable.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah. Point for Icy and all of our gaming friends.
I mean, I know I've quoted him like 15 times tonight, but it is the Solana night, so I feel like it's justified and it's okay. It's in the words of Mert the other day, if you're struggling to find product market fit, consider building a product that the market wants.
Real.
Wow. What a crazy Confucius saying.
Accidentally fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Much love to Icy, much love to Justin, to Tori, to Jason, to all of our friends who are watching the stream right now, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Facebook, and Linda, of course, the official mom of the Rise Up Morning Show. Thank you very much. And probably the best trader in our audience.
My mom is currently out trading all of you, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Point for Linda.
Go Linda.
If you're just seeing us for the first time, Rise Up After Dark is live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We interview our friends, expert guests, and research crypto projects to find out, is there proof in the pudding? And we play a little game where right now, guys, Amy is winning, but it's pretty close. I do have to say, we even have points for our friends in the audience. Justin got a point, and Jason got a point for recommending that Coinbase rug pull. We have yet to hear Amy rap.
This is a good time to notice, to just let everybody know, the Jupiter, so decentralized exchange aggregator on Solana, their Twitter was hacked an hour ago. Do not click any links from the Twitter account of Jupiter.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt that in my body before I got a tag from somebody in the comments of a Jupiter tweet, and it's because Jupiter tweeted, "Who's the baddest bitch in crypto?" And I was like, "There's no way Jupiter."
There's no way they would have done that. Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, this account." I'm like, "Let me check the account for a second."
Yeah.
Oh my God. And our guest is, of course, Amy Street, and you can find her at I am Amy Street on Twitter. And of course, here on TikTok too, for all of our friends who are watching her here. We're kind of bifurcated in a couple of different places. And like I say, if you're just seeing us for the first time, we're usually live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central to answer your crypto questions, to help you understand what this stuff is, to separate the hype from the reality. And we want to make sure that beyond the show, you get that good information too. So if you find yourself in need, you got a question, you want to ask somebody for help, and you don't want to get scammed, the best place to do it is the Discord server. It's discord.gg/riseup. Now, Amy, I want to be respectful of your time. So we're almost to the end of our game where we get our dog and pony show on the road, but I cannot let you leave. We cannot let you leave without hearing the absolute piping hot tea about the reality show.
I'm so curious about
coming to a television near you. Tell me, how did you get involved as the producer of a crypto onboarding, but also like totally normal, cool reality show? What's the pitch here?
Yeah, so when I got into the ecosystem, and I'm sure a lot of people that are listening in on TikTok that are like new to crypto and are kind of just tuning in and found these wonderful guys because you are learning and growing with them, that you know that a lot of this crypto stuff doesn't start on chapter 1 and they start on chapter 12, and you're like, what the hell is going on, and where do I go to get resources, and how do I even learn about any of this stuff? Like, I don't think that there's a lot that is out there that is showing people all the different things that are possible on blockchain. And I think this is there's got to be a cool content lane to do this. And that's why I did the podcast at first, because I was like, I could just have a cool, down to earth, break it down podcast where I have cool guests on and we ask questions and make it really user friendly and accessible, but also entertaining for new people. I scrapped that idea, but I've been waiting for a long time to try to come up with a way to bring this to the people. And myself and a couple of people from Solana Foundation and my best friend who used to work in TV, film, and she owns a gaming studio. She's just like one of the coolest people I know on earth. Her name is Melty. And
great name.
Right?
So good.
So she's Thai. She's incredible. So she and I came up with this idea when we were already going to go to Singapore with all of these girls that we typically meet up with, that all of the girls in Web3 and crypto and in Solana are really close. And there's like 11 girls who I've known for forever. We've been in a group chat for forever. We all decided, because we never really get to meet up and hang out, that we all have to go to Asia for this conference. Let's go get used to Asian time zone and go to a beautiful island and go chill out together and build and work and co-work while we wait till we got to go to Singapore. So we decided to book this beautiful villa that exists in Koh Samui, Thailand. You can look it up. It's called the Solana Villa in Koh Samui, Thailand. And it is a completely Solana themed villa for like 12 bedrooms. And it's just some like a Solana whale that made this Solana themed house. And we're like, we have to go stay there. That's like insane. That's awesome.
I'd seen about that on social media a while ago. I think when it happened.
It's cool, right? So we decided to book it. And then a couple of the girls had joked in the chat. They're like, we should like just do some content and like get this sponsored so we don't have to pay for it. And Melty and I don't do anything half-assed, and we don't do anything that is like casual. So instead of just doing a little bit of content, we decided to write, direct, co-produce $100,000 reality show that we are releasing exclusively on X with behind the scenes stuff happening on TikTok and Drip. So
Wow.
a really cool thing. But the ethos of it was like, we want this to be cool, Trojan horse, accessible content that new people can look at and be like, oh, I get what crypto is after I've watched this. And if you think about reality shows, you think about like Selling Sunset, or you think about, I mean, I'm in Utah right now, the one that's about like the Amish wives, right? That all live together. Like,
Oh, that's right. Yep.
It's like, you don't really think of reality TV as educational. You know what I mean? It's like brain rot TV. However, when you watch these shows, you fall in love with different characters. You like learn to love different characters. You find different things that you like in these different characters. And you also learn about the culture or whatever the show is based about. So if we do a reality show about 10 women who all are working on Solana and crypto, you're going to learn some stuff about people who work on Solana and crypto, but you're also going to see dynamics of these women. So we have a archetype of every kind of woman that was going to be coming to this trip. We have a developer who's a coder. We have a couple content creators. I'm like the biz dev growth like influencer. I also have a girl who owns an AI startup. I have a girl who's starting a brand new startup that's raising right now. I have an angel investor. I have an executive at Magic Eden that's a part of it. I have a girl who's an ETH influencer that's turned into a Solana maxi that was going to fight in karate combat in Singapore. And so she's training for that on the show. Like we have a dynamic of all types of women that are doing really cool stuff. And we scripted this show based on the sponsors we got to showcase a plethora of different cool products and things that are in Solana. So besides all of that, we have written into the show a normie or a person that doesn't know anything about crypto. And one of the girls shows up to the villa and brings this girl that doesn't know anything about crypto. And we're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is like, I don't know what you're like, I guess it's fine. Like, she can stay, like, obviously, but like, she's like,
she's not going to have any fun.
And she ends up having to like learn about crypto, and she's like asking questions, and we like teach her how to download a wallet. We teach her about wallet security. There's like a couple of mishaps that happen. Like, we have to use crypto, or like there are like, we learn about different DPIN things. We learn about different gaming things. We learn about AI. We learn about all sorts of different things, NFTs, meme coins. We talk about all of it in the show, but there's also like a layer of drama that is both scripted and unscripted that is a part of the show that is in the 6-episode series, with the 7th episode bonus that will be a live stream, like after the villa kind of live stream that we're going to do with all the girls and kind of talk back after the show. But cool. We've gone massively viral with just pre-marketing, and we haven't even released a trailer yet. Like we've got, I think it's over 12 million impressions on the few things that we put out that were like completely planned and scripted to go viral. So people at least knew about it in the crypto ecosystem. And then we'll be pushing this out to TikTok. We're going to be putting this on Drip, which is another cool platform for pushing out content that you can get for free.
Shout out to my creator over there. We love it.
Woo, we love Drip.
What is the name of the show?
Day.
It is called Solana Summer Society. You can find it on Twitter, and that is Solana Summer TV. On TikTok, I got to look up what it is on TikTok, because it's not Solana Summer TV on, I think it's, it might be Solana Summer Talk on TikTok. So you'll be able to find stuff. We haven't even started marketing this yet, so don't expect to see much when you go there, but very excited to, I don't know if you're going to be able to show this on TikTok, Evan, but if you scroll down, you might be able to find Banger's house tour of the villa.
I was just saying to Alex in every single chat, trying to get his attention, dude, we got to show this house.
Yeah, if you scroll down, keep going down, you'll be able to find, that's one of the parties we throw at the end of the season finale.
No way.
But if you keep scrolling down, you'll be able to find Banger's house tour. That's all the girls at the ATV.
I mean, already though, like these scroll bys, it looks like it's a probably pretty killer house.
Oh, it's insane.
It seems very nice.
That's all the girls on the boat.
On the boat. Man.
Not much on the page, she says.
Not much, right? Except it's just like every beautiful picture. So Is that a
Does it have
helicopter pad?
Oh yeah.
Alex, you're flying
You
us
gotta
in,
have the
dude.
helicopter pad.
We're already scheming and dreaming about how we can get out there and do the Rise Up morning
This-
show
that's-
live from
That's
Thailand.
the thing is, if you see that video up there, that's the house tour. You can click
This-
into it.
This one?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay. It's the.
I have fully directed this, and she's perfect. She's a great content creator. You should follow Bangers too.
It's the speed tour. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, just look at that place.
yeah, it's really insane. She,
Parkour.
yeah, she does runs around this whole villa. It's very funny. She's
Oh.
hysterical.
This is a true test because Evan and Will, I know you guys just don't use TikTok the way that I do. This is a trend. The speed tour.
Oh yeah, the speed tour is a trend. Thank you.
Oh, it was a trend. This is the first time. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No,
It's
there-
not. It's
there's
not
that
on my
floating
For You
patio.
page.
There is a real estate account that went mega viral for doing speed tours of big mansions in like Texas.
He's very
and-
funny.
What? Look
He's
at
very
that
funny.
thing.
Chunky.
Dude, this place is
This
insane.
place is
place is huge.
wild.
Yeah.
I didn't see the glass for a second. I was
my.
like, watch
And the
out.
helicopter.
She
The
kills
bed
it.
is huge. Yeah, she earned
She doesn't
earned
even
it.
go through like 90% of the rooms, believe it or not. Like, we cut it so it looks like she's getting through everything, but we.
How many
um,
times did you have to rehearse the route? Is what I want to know. Like,
So it's so hot in Thailand. We shot this in Thailand, right? It's the middle of the in the end of the summer where nobody vacations here, right? And because it's too hot, it's like 102 degrees out, and she's
Wow.
running around this villa. We probably had to do. We cut it up. She's not doing it in one big thing. That's the secret. We cut it up into probably 20 different runs, and. I mean, we're having to like wipe her face down between between cuts and stuff like that. And it was so funny, but this went so viral. And the funny thing about crypto is like, I don't know, there's been a lot of really cringe content that's come out of the crypto ecosystem that hasn't been like an onboarding
say.
success. You know, it just has been like cringe crypto content. And like, we are really trying to trigger the crypto audience right now into thinking that this is not going to be educational. Like, I just want them to think that this is going to be Jersey Shore trash and but everyone's going to go watch it. And then they're going to be super surprised that this is a super educational thing. There's moments, if we mention an unattainable word in the episodes, in confessional, we break down the word. We like show the word and we say what it is. And so that if you're watching it and you don't know anything about crypto, you're able to go through and be like, oh, I didn't know what MEV rewards were, or I didn't know what bullish meant, or I didn't know what an NFT marketplace was. We explain all of these words inside of confessionals, and it makes it super accessible for people that are not in crypto. So I'm really stoked about this to come out. We've been in post-production since September. So slowly but surely, my whole team that's on the editing team is here in Utah with me, and we're working on it. We're going to actually be showing the first episode in a sneak preview. We're renting out a theater and showing all the guys that are here at Mountain Dow the first episode. And we'll be releasing the trailer really soon. So really excited. I'll show you. I've already shown Alex. I don't know if you've shown Evan or Will yet, but we should. I'll show you after we get offline. I'll show you the trailer.
Okay, and we're going to tell you about it. That's fantastic. And I think it's such a great opportunity. I have always wanted to do a crypto reality show. I say all the time that this show is our
He's been saying it for years.
for a long time, you know, just
You've been saying it for as long as I've known you.
well, just this is our attempt,
Well
but
before.
you guys really get to do it. The take people behind the scenes of the wild and wonderful world of Web3 because it feels exclusive. But the catch is you're invited, and you might be at a mansion themed like Solana, or you might be in a room full of people just typing on their computers, or you might be where somebody is about to address the press room at the White House about the strategic crypto reserve. Like, it is such a weird puzzle. That I think it needs its own TV show. So I'm excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we talked about, Amy, I had shared one of the reasons I was excited about the show, regardless of the fact that I am excited to watch it personally. There's just like, there are so many different things that you can do in this industry, and it's so dumb that it is looked at with tunnel vision all the time. And for the same reason that it would be silly to say that like I'm going to ignore all of crypto because I don't like meme coins. It's kind of like saying I refuse to use email because of the Nigerian prince scam.
Totally.
And it
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense. And the more of this kind, like you mentioned, phase banks, right? Personally, not a huge fan, but the fact that it exists and the fact that there are other people who are fans and that you can all find something to do in this same, like, you know, industry full of technology is kind of the point. Like, it's not meant to be a singular tribe of people just doing the same thing with the same tool. It's like the internet. I mean, you can do everything on the internet, from gamble to take MIT courses for free through YouTube, and everything else in between. Buy houses, you know, do whatever. That's kind of the whole point. So the more stuff like this that comes out, the more excited I am.
Okay, it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, to do our final thoughts, which means I want you to each take a moment and get that thought, get that last minute question, your best joke, your words of wisdom, any complaints or suggestions that you have before we truly ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. We'd love to hear them in the comments. We are so grateful to you for tuning in. And before you do that, while you're thinking about what you might want to say, I want to invite you one more time to check out the free Rise Up Discord server. It is the place to connect with us 24/7, even when the show isn't online. We've got everything. We've got links to memberships, courses, coaching, free global community, education galore. All that's missing, my friends, is you. And we will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Rise Up Morning Show. We would absolutely love to see you there. If you enjoyed our guest tonight, Amy Street, you can find her here on TikTok or on Twitter at I am Amy Street. On X, really, I should say. I can't get out of the habit of calling it Twitter. I'm absolutely broken. I'm so sorry about it.
I only recently started calling it X, and even then, I'm like, yeah, you like Twitter more.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do. Do you want to do points first or final thoughts first? I'm inclined to do final thoughts first, just to give everybody a chance to win some more points, because as it stands now,
I need the boost. So
you might need the boost, but you're doing pretty good, Alex. You're actually doing quite good. Only one gwump so far. So don't
ill-gotten gwump it was.
Gwump it up. You want to go first, brother? You got a final thought, question, suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom? Amy, we'll come to you last as our guest of honor. How's that?
Sounds good.
Sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to put some pressure on Alex. You better ding, man.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I was just first, really quick. I have seen and written down a series of questions that we got today that were just not super on topic for this, but super happy to hit them tomorrow morning. And if you asked a question tonight and you didn't get an answer that you were looking for, please feel free to drop it and tag us in Discord, and we can definitely go through it. But I have a few things that we can cover tomorrow morning. But no, final thoughts for tonight. Obviously, Amy, thank you so much for giving us all of this time. It was really great. The people are big fans and have already asked that you come back. And I said, I spoke for you and said, oh, she'll definitely be back. But no, like I said, it's great to dig into the ecosystem and hear more about all the things that are happening beyond the memes, because it's the first thing that everyone says, and often it can be kind of a turnoff. And, you know, it's hard to push against it because, of course, there are scams in memes. But, you know, I always say memes are on Solana because people are on Solana, and liquidity is on Solana, and people like memes. And if all of the people and all the liquidity were on a different chain, guess what? That's where all the memes would be. So once you get through that door and look past it, there is a bunch of stuff. And so I really appreciate you being here tonight to give us a little bit more of a deep dive.
I'll give you a point for it. That was really thoughtful.
You're goddamn right.
You're lucky you went first, because you took a lot of what I was gonna say.
You can say
well, here, I'll go next and let you think about it for a minute.
Okay.
Unless you got one. You want to go for it? You risking it for the biscuit?
No, all I was gonna say is I want to give one kind of like a trading metaphor to the same scenario of, you hear Solana and memes and you think that's all it is, but the memes wouldn't have existed if the people weren't there. The people wouldn't be there if money didn't come there. People and money wouldn't be coming there if really good things weren't being built on that. So in the crypto space, and also as an investor, I'll get to that next point as well, is you got to get used to asking that next question of, oh, that is happening there. Meme coins are happening at Solana. Why? And then start diving into that. And in order to dive in that, you need some research tools. We talk about them all the time. DeFi Llama, DApp Radar. You need all these different tools. we're here to help you. We have a ton of videos out talking about all of them, deep diving. We direct people to them all the time. Hop in the Discord to get those resources. But also, a lot of people here, they're not used to going in and using these applications. They're used to trading and investing. It's hearing, oh, Solana's only memes, and then not having a follow-up question is like hearing about a token being talked about on social media, going and looking and seeing it's at an all-time high price. And, you know, the mistake you make is buying then. The mistake you make with, oh, Solana's just memes is just stopping the conversation there, not asking the follow-up question. It's the same kind of thing. If you're hearing something, what you're hearing means it's probably a missed opportunity from an investing standpoint. If you're hearing about, oh, Solana's just memes, it's because the internet likes to take clickbaity, ragey, trolly stuff and throw it at it, but then always ask the follow-up question. Already talked about with Solana, but again, with investing, it's, okay, why did this pump up? Is it because of some conspiracy theory? Jazz me. Or is it, you know, something really, truly valuable? And if so, what else is being built in this space, you know? And then you can find real opportunities for you. Again, you hear about something, ask some follow-up questions, do a little bit of digging. We're all here to help you get the tools that you need to do that digging. You just gotta push forward a little bit further. You're so close to finding gold.
Very well said. 2 points in one answer. Man.
Suck it, Alex.
Golly. Okay. I will say
Perish.
that if you're somebody listening to this show, especially if you are in crypto as a newish person, maybe you've been here for a year or less, or you're still thinking, is this for me? Especially if you are feeling like you are overwhelmed, you can't quite catch up to this. I want to encourage you to spend some time in a Discord, in a community, anywhere that you already are. We live in a lot of places. We live on Facebook, on Twitter, and would be happy to help, like Will and Alex have already said, but making connections like the ones Amy talked about. You don't have to sell a couple of NFTs and then sell your car to buy Solana and go on the road tour with the founders, but
it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
It would be. Oh my God. Okay. It would be a lot cooler if you did. But listen, that's not realistic for everybody. A lot of people watching this have kids. A lot of people watching this have commitments to family, to work, to a particular geographic location. And I just want to let you know that whoever you are, you can learn this stuff and start participating. It is a decentralized revolution. And it is not just about being a computer nerd or being a super wealthy investor. It is an inclusive movement, and you are invited. So find a spot online that resonates with your curiosity, that resonates with your skill set, and then I promise you, a way to contribute will appear to you. You'll find your people if you just hang on a little longer, and we are so glad that you're hanging on a little longer here with us tonight. So Amy, on behalf of all of our audience, big thank you for coming. I hope you got a great final thought, because it's been a really tight game. And everybody needs the points.
You know what?
What's your last question, suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom, final thought?
I just want to say that if you're listening to this show, like, you are in the right place. Because I have been listening to these guys for a very long time, and I am like the expert on the show right now. You know what I mean? And I'm still a listener in the audience, and I still learn from them every week. So I want to say that first and foremost. So like TikTok listeners, YouTube listeners, Facebook listeners, like, you found the right people. Congrats to you. I wish I would have found them earlier in my career, because it was very hard for me to onboard. So there's that as like, and so a big thank you to having me on, because you guys are my celebrities. I like have been watching you guys for a minute, and you guys noticing me in the comments last week was like, those are the guys. Like, those are my guys I watch every week. And so very fun to be here, and I would love to join you guys anytime. Like, this is just, you guys are the best. I felt like I've known you guys forever too. So great to kind of connect. As far as it goes for final thoughts of closing the show out though, I'm a very special case where I did not plan to like research this. I did not plan to, I did not look to seek out crypto. Again, crypto kind of found me, and I have learned a ton about the different pockets of this ecosystem. And people kind of look at me and they're like, you used to be a teacher and write music, and now like you're working in crypto, like those are completely different things. And to them, I tell them that they actually aren't at their core. They aren't different things. And if you are looking for something and you are looking for something to be passionate about, and you have found yourself like thinking the crypto and Web3 space might be something that I want to kind of look into, I would really urge yourself to I'm going to anchor down and like double tap the comment that I was making earlier, which is like really try to figure out what you love in this world and what makes you happy, and bring that into the crypto space, because someone is going to open their arms and welcome you in and choose you as someone that they want to help build with. And so if you're looking for new work, if you're looking for new community, if you're looking for new friends, I think that the Web3 ecosystem is one of the coolest places to build relationships with, for just personal relationships and for career. So I would heavily suggest getting involved just to meet people and discuss the future of building the new internet. I think it's the coolest place on earth, and I think you guys are in the right spot to start your journey. So that's my final thoughts.
Two trailing things before I actually get to the points. Where is the Web3 community? Somebody asked. Well, it's online. And it's right here on the Rise Up Morning Show, Rise Up After Dark, on Amy's page. And if you spend a little time with us, whenever you got 5 minutes here and there, we can help you get connected to a lot of the different pockets. So follow our channels, because these are the only channels we have. Wherever you're watching, you may encounter impersonators who look like us, who might reach out to you offering help, asking you a question, sharing investment advice, or an opportunity to earn passive income. That is never us, okay? We will not message you unsolicited without getting your attention or doing it in a public place first. And that's not because we don't care about you. It's because we do care about you. We want you to stay safe. There are a lot of people out here who want to leverage the trust we built to separate you from your money. So come back, take it one day at a time, and you'll learn. Now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, actually, I got to rug myself. Amy, that we do have, I have one question for you. That's a Guam for me. Yeah, that's a Guam for me. I'm so sorry. I'm going for myself. Okay, we don't probably have a beat or time for you to drop a bar, but where can people find your music? That's my last rapid fire question for you.
Okay, so this is a hard thing to do, because I used to be a ghostwriter, and ghostwriter means that like all my stuff's locked in NDAs. So unless I have a couple of margaritas in me and we're sitting at a bar and I'm like, oh, I wrote this.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Well, and we'll leak it.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
and
Amy wrote this song.
Be like, oh, I really love this song. I know the person who wrote it.
Exactly. Okay. So is there any music though that you do under your own name that you can tell people about, or they'll just have to stay tuned for the extra dark edition of After Dark?
I think that it's probably going to have to be an extra dark situation, but you can't necessarily find any of my music out there because I wasn't performing anything. I'm just selling it and running away to most of the people that I worked with.
We're gonna have to definitely look into that in episode 2. Okay, now without further ado, it is the point totals time, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for this? In last place, tied with 1 Gwump each, Cardano and Polkadot. I'm so sorry, Cardano and Polkadot. Please try again next time.
I'm surprised Coinbase didn't make it there too.
Oh no, Coinbase didn't even get a Gwump, but I'm gonna retroactive Gwump them. Tied with 1 point from the audience, our friends Jason and Justin. Congratulations. And in third place, it is a 3-way tie. You're not going to believe it after all the Gwumps and all the points. You, Alex, you, Will, and me, we all had 6 points.
Oh, well,
and
this is right then.
That means your winner this evening is the one, the only Amy Street with 10 points, ladies and gentlemen.
Well deserved.
Amy, you have won our favor forever. Congratulations. And thank you so much on behalf of us and all of our friends who tuned in. Lots of thank yous in the comments. We absolutely love it and appreciate your time.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and I would love to come back anytime, guys. This is so fun. You guys have the best show on the internet, in my opinion. So
thank you so much.
I will.
11 points. She got 11 points right at the buzzer.
Come
Thank you
on.
so much. Yeah, and that's the gong. That means we got to go. We're taking our dogs and ponies and we're riding off into the sunset. So, my friends, come back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will see you right here for the Rise Up Morning Show. Until then, my friends, stay well,